Hey everyone, I'm Jack, and I wanted to share with you the way that I water our plants. I did a video a while back showing the pH of our water. I'll put a card up here so you can watch that video if you want. The water coming out of our hose and our faucets inside as well, very acidic, so I have a pH down solution to bring it about 6.0 is what the cacti and succulents like. And so I kind of tried the technique on our outdoor plants. In past seasons, I used to stand out there with the hose, and just kind of free water, blasting everything with water. And, as much as I watered, things still were dying. The leaves would turn brown and yellow and die, and it didn't matter how much fertilizer or amendments I did or anything like that. They just didn't survive. And so the way that I do it is the same as when I filled the cooler and took inside to water the plants indoors. I just do it on a bigger scale. So I have a trash can here and I just stick the garden hose in it. So I just kind of tuck it in there and I put a couple of coils around the bottom, and then I just turn on the water, let this fill up. And once it's up near the top, I take the pH down with a tongue depressor, just like I do on the indoor one. And I just dip it inside and kind of slosh it around in here. And it only takes 2 or 3 dips of the stick, if you will, to bring the pH down. And then I have a aquarium pump with a little bubbler on it, and I just stick that in there and let the water get aerated. I leave this in all the time. Oh, just got buzzed by a hornet or a wasp. I leave this in all the time to oxygenate the water. I have the pump here inside of this plant stand and the cord, wrapped up to keep it protected from the rain. And I think that, this helps too, having the oxygenated water. So let me turn on the water and get this filled up. Being summer here in Arkansas, I'm going to go inside, and there's a window right behind the camera where I can kind of keep an eye on this so it doesn't overflow. So let me do that and I'll come right back. So I went inside, did a couple of things. I wasn't paying attention and it overflowed. Not very much, but now now it's fuller than normally I keep it. What I do from here is I take this bucket, I think it's like a 2.5 gallon bucket, and I just dip some water out of here, and I carry this in a canning jar up front where the flowers are, and then I just take the canning jar and I dip it in the bucket, and I pour just a little bit of water right under the plant. Like, I try not to get the top of it wet. Now that it's summer and it's so hot, I don't like to get the plants wet because I feel that they just get burned having the water on and the sun beating down on them. And so doing it this way with carrying the bucket up and using the canning jar just on the base of the plants, it actually accomplishes a couple of different things. It stops the wasting of water, different than overflowing a barrel a little bit, but it stops wasting the water in between the plants where I don't need it. And all that does where we live is sprout weeds. It also eliminates getting water on the plants so they don't get burned in this horribly hot sun. The plants getting wet not only can get burned, but the zinnias that I'm growing and the fig trees are prone to mildew. And later in the summer, around August, I think September, well, September isn't really summer, but it kind of is here in Arkansas. The humidity gets really high, and the fig trees get a mildew on them, and it kills all the leaves. They fall off the tree, and it's kind of the first part of the fig trees going dormant. But every year they get this horrible mildew from the humidity, and the zinnias. Gosh, why do I keep rambling on about that? So let me put the pH down in here, and I will take this bucket up front and do some watering. It only takes a couple of these tongue depressor dips to bring the water down near 6.0. I used to test it every time, and it always came out the same, so now I know. I'll put a little extra in here because I filled it up so much. Now I know that, you know, just a few little dips brings that pH down. And then I take the bubbler and I just run it up through the handle. I put a little piece of aluminum on it just to keep it from floating up to the top. And it's actually not working. The little piece of plastic that goes actually into the pump that the hose slips over is broken. And so in pushing it in here, trying to get it to seat right, it just won't. So unfortunately this aquarium pump doesn't work. So I'm going to unplug that. So now what I do is I just sink this bucket in here. It's so full, there's some splashing out over the back. And I fill it, you know, pretty full. And I just put the lid on it. And I'll take this up front, take the jar, and just start watering. Something else I discovered in doing it this way is the plants don't really need a whole bunch of water. Granted, I do have to do this, you know, 2 to 3, sometimes 4 times a week, depending on how hot and, you know, nasty the weather is. But it's a lot less than standing here with a hose. And I just never would have figured that they could get by with such little water. I was always under the impression that you had to like just blast gallons and gallons of water, and you really don't. Now this way, by no means, stops all weeds from growing. What I've discovered is the weeds will pop up where I water. So they're kind of taking advantage of where the good water source is. And they do sprout where I don't water, so that doesn't change. But there is a lot less of them. There's no doubt that this is a little bit more labor intensive, but another thing it does is it kind of puts me closer to each plant so that I can pick up on, you know, a problem before it gets out of hand, and then take steps to fix that problem. So that's kind of another cool little benefit. So I hope you found this video interesting. Maybe it's something you can incorporate in your garden. If you liked it, click that thumbs up for me, subscribe to see more videos, and until the next time, thanks for watching.